with the use of special library functions. The rand int, it has a lower and upper bound and a size. It generates a set of random values of the shape this. Now by using seed, a particular value sent into argument and same set of values will be produced. Suppose we seed a different value in this argument, different random values will be generated for the next time. Now in this module random, there is another function called rand, which will be giving out float values in the uniform distribution from 0 to 1 of 3 by 2 shape. So we can see the output like 0 to 1 and dimension 3 by 2. Now again we have a different function from the random module, rand n, in which the mean and the standard deviation is defined, and when we use the function, we'll generate random floating point numbers from a standard normal distribution. So the output is this. We can see the Gaussian distribution or the standard normal distribution. Now we'll move to the next section of accessing data, indexing data. Now by indexing data, we mean that in this random we will generate 4 batches, 5 rows and 6 columns, and we can use the reference of the elements located, and this means that the 0th batch, 2nd row and 3rd column element. By this we generate a random array, and by this we will generate a particular value. Now we'll go to the slicing. The slicing is that this generates the first batch. This is the all rows and all columns, and this will see that by these many values will be generated by the first print statement. Now from the first batch, first 4 rows and first 5 columns will be generated. So this is the output of the third. Note, the last of the range is not included. So 0, 1, 2 will be the number of rows, and 0, 1, 2, 3 will be number of columns. So 4 columns and 3 rows, as we can see. Now syntax for slicing at interval is start, stop and the step size. Now we can either use from the 0th batch, we can use all the range of columns and rows, and interval of 2 is a step size. We can see the output at this stage, and now we can do this by particular rows and columns. This is the range of rows, this is the range of columns, and this is the number of batches. We can see it in the last output. Now we'll move on to the modifying data. If you want to copy a data or array, when you assign an array or its element to a new variable, you have to explicitly define numpy.copy, otherwise the variable is a view into original array. We put an array in this np.copy, and then it will be stored in np copy. And now we'll check if two arrays are same copy or not. We'll check the equality and it shows true. Now we'll put a particular value in this array, and then we'll check for the equality and it will show false. Now modifying multiple values. we can see that all the arrays are same before modification. This is the equality, and we will see that all the values are equal, like every 6 value are same in this. And before modifying, this is the array, and after modifying, when we put 0.5 equals, so the shape of this array is 2 into 3 6. All the 6 elements will be filled by this value, so we can see that here. And then after modifying, we'll get this value, and if we'll check that if two arrays are of the same copy or not, we'll get that no, this n copy and n are both different, because n copy has these values and n23 has different values. Now we'll move on to the pivoting data. Array reshaping is an operation that changes the shape. We'll see how to reshape it. We'll generate a array based on this using the rand function, and the original size is this. We'll print it. Now we'll reshape it. By reshaping it, one thing has to be taken care, like the number of batches into rows into columns always remains the same. 3 4s are 12, 5 is 60, and this has to be the same. We can change the order, like here we had 3 batches, here we have 2 batches, here 4 rows, here 6 rows, and 5 columns, here 5 columns. So the total shape is 60. Here is also the total shape is 60. But when we print it, now we can reshape it. Now if we want to reshape it to different dimension, we have generated 120 values. This is a 1D array by using arange function. Now we are reshaping this R to this values whose multiplication is 120, and when we reshape it, it has 3 batches, 4 columns, 4 rows, and 10 columns. Now if we want to reshape it to 6 batches and 20 rows, we'll have this shape. Now, but what do you mean by transposing the data? First we generated 50 range from 0 to 50, and then we have reshaped it. Now this has a shape of 5 rows and 10 columns. By using np.transpose, we exchange the rows and columns. Now it has become 10 rows and 5 columns. Similarly, now the original shape is 3 batches, 4 rows and 5 columns. We transpose it and changed it to this. It is a similar explanation, and now we can change the transpose along specific axis. So when we original shape is this, and when we transpose it, it becomes this. Shape of transpose array is 3 5 4, because the shape is transposed here. Now flatten. In deep learning we want to use a flatten if we have an array of certain, if we have a matrix of certain shape and we want to make it 1D, so we can do it by flattening. We generated a matrix of this shape and then we flatten it. K is the name and then we use dot flatten and then we generated it. Like this is the value and this is the 1D array which has 30 values. Now if we want to flatten along a column, we can use this. Now we can also flatten it by using reshape, by putting reshape -1 and it will generate the same value. So we'll cover the next parts in the next section.